In these trying times, shifting to new normal education setup doesn't only mean revisiting the curriculum and aligning certain factors that would address the needs of the situation, but it also equates to preparing teachers, building their capacity to transpire knowledge through the use of ICT in the relentless pursuit to quality education amidst pandemic.
Today, our perseverance and determination brought us here. We are already on the third day of this regional training, and we continue to adhere and embrace learning as we continue to hope for a better and brighter future for our dear students. I am Catherine C. Albino.
And this is Froilan D. Solitaria of Santo Niño National High School, Schools Division Office of Iriga City. We came fearless and we battle with faith, courage, and compassion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third day of regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and 2.
To begin with our program, let us all embrace patriotism and show our unity as one nation by singing the nationalistic song, and let us ask guidance from our Heavenly Father through a doxology.
Let us bow our heads, place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Our Heavenly Father, We come before you today with humble hearts and with gratefulness for all the wonders and blessings you have showered upon us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today in this important event. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be in this momentous event. May you bestow your guidance and blessings on this event so that we can enjoy and appreciate the significance in our lives. Bless everyone present today that each may be able to share what he or she has for your glory and honor. Truly, discipline, perseverance, and determination to excel are instilled in us abundantly. This is not about ranking oneself among bests, but this is about the humble heart of a person who is able to see how blessed he is despite the odds and difficulties along the way. Lord, we acknowledge that everything comes from you, the God who orchestrates every second of our lives so perfectly. Because of his great love for us, all the praises and awards that we will receive today are meant to be given back to you. It is because of your grace and your guidance that we have come this far. Whatever is set before us, we give all the glory back to you. May this event be a success through your intervention. We ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Once again, a prolific and enthusiastic morning to one and all. It is our delight that you remain. As we have mentioned earlier, we are already on the last day of this 3-day regional training on Adobe Creative Educator. So all the inputs from this webinar will surely be of great help to everyone. Right, Ma'am Catherine?
Yes, indeed, all of our participants and trainers have come a long way just to assure that this webinar will be truly worthwhile. And I just want to remind our participants with their outputs, please make sure that you have completed all of the activities.
And if you still have some queries and questions for clarification, please reserve it for later. We will entertain all of your questions during the open forum. A link will be provided. It's actually a Google slide link, and you can post your questions there. And later, we will flash your questions during the open forum so our speaker could respond on it.
Now, to continue with our scheduled program today, let us welcome Mama Rowena Prado Abuel to give us the webinar protocols.
Good morning, everyone. These are the protocols in our webinar. First, be on time. Be ready at least 10 minutes before the activity begins for us to avoid missing any important information. Second, dress appropriately. Third, situate yourself in quiet place so there will be no disruption. Fourth, listen attentively. Fifth, keep an open mind as you listen to the speaker. 6. Inquiries and clarifications will only be entertained after the talk or if the speaker calls for it. 7. Please use the chat box or comment section for your concerns. 8. Respect co-attendees or co-participants. 9th, do and submit the given activities. This is an output-based webinar, so no output, no certificate. 10th, accomplish attendance and evaluation forms. 11th, should you have any clarifications and concerns about the webinar, you may chat personally the technical working group before, during, or after the webinar. And last one, sit back, learn, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And in our webinar today, of course, we will be graced with another competent and brilliant resource speaker. And for us to get to know who he is, let's give a virtual clap to Sir Alec Jordan T. Buencamino, Special Science Teacher 1 of Schools Division Office of Albay, as he introduced the resource speaker. Sir?
Good day to everyone. For this day's morning session, our trainer is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education in Music, Arts, Physical Education, and Health at Bicol University. He has completed all the academic requirements for the degree of Master of Arts in Music Education and presently finishing his master's thesis in music at Bicol University. He built a recording studio that primarily caters to bands, audio advertisements, jingles, content creation for social media, and film scoring. Presently, he is the head of the MAPE department and special program in sports coordinator of Cabangan High School in DepEd SDO Legazpi City. Concurrently, part of the national DepEd TV program as music and film score composer, video editor, and TV broadcaster. Let me introduce to you my former music teacher in St. Agnes Academy, an experienced music composer, producer, musician, graphics artist, video producer, and editor. We have with us Mr. Felix Rafael A. Balde.
Good morning, teachers. I hope you're doing well. I am tasked to discuss to you or to teach you all about the basics or fundamentals of Adobe Illustrator. Now, just what is Adobe Illustrator? And bakit kailangan ko siya matutunan? Adobe Illustrator is different from Photoshop because Photoshop specializes in raster images and Adobe Illustrator specializes in vector images. Again, ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng vector and raster image? Let's discuss this thoroughly. Now, the definition can get a little complex, so we will make it simple. Vector graphics are mathematical equations that are used to draw out your designs. The best way to understand them is to see a comparison between vector graphics and raster graphics. As a simple example, JPEG, GIF, or PNG file formats are examples of raster graphics, while a vector graphic would be a PDF, EPS, or an AI file format. The main difference is that a raster graphic is only as big as it's delivered to you. If you try to scale it up or make it bigger, it will pixelate. If you look at the difference between these two after I've zoomed the camera, you can clearly see on the left that the raster version is getting pixelated and a little bit blurry, while on the right, where we used a vector version of the same graphic, it will always have crisp, clean edges, and it will look sharp no matter how big I make it. As an example, photos are raster, so you're not able to blow them up like crazy without quality loss. I'm sure napapansin nyo to every time you zoom in sa mga pictures nyo sa cellphone. Whereas fonts, on the other hand, for example, are vector, so you can make them as big as you want. So, the bottom line is that vector graphics, when it comes to scalability, will always be superior to raster graphics. Vector graphics are infinitely scalable. You can put them on big posters, on a huge building or billboard, and they will never lose their quality. That is why whenever gagawa ka or magpapagawa ka ng graphics like logos and signages, always demand for a vector file. Now let's start learning Adobe Illustrator. Now, for this training, I will not be using my drawing tablet. Bakit kaya? Instead, I will be using a mouse. This is to show you na kahit mouse lang ang gamit natin, pwede tayong gumawa ng artwork or vector-based artwork sa Adobe Illustrator. Now, I encourage everyone na sabayan ako, so please download the practice files na binigay ko by downloading it at the links provided. So, are you ready? Let's go! First thing I need you to do in Adobe Illustrator is to go to Window, go to Workspace, and choose Essentials para magpare-pareho yung interfaces natin so that you can follow me. To help you become more familiar with Adobe Illustrator CC, let's take a tour. To start, you'll open an Illustrator CC document. With Illustrator CC open, you can open a file by choosing File in the menus above. Open. In the Open dialog box, navigate to a file that you have, or you can open the practice files downloaded from the link provided. Then click Open. After opening a document, you will usually want to make sure that you can see all the document content. To do that, choose View, Fit All in Window. With the file open, you'll see the Illustrator workspace. Now, the workspace is made up of an open document. In the document window, you see here, the menus above, the Tools panel on the left, and finally, dock panels like the Properties panel you see here on the right. As you explore in Illustrator, you'll find that you can move parts of this workspace to have things you use all the time, easily accessible, or maybe to show more of the artwork you're working on and fewer tools and panels. So let's explore the pieces that make up the workspace. In the Tools panel on the left, you'll see tools you can use to create and edit your artwork. Some of the tools have a little arrow in the corner, which means there are more tools you can choose from. For instance, press and hold on the rectangle tool here to show more tools you can choose from. Click to select the ellipse tool and notice that the menu of tools is now hidden and the ellipse tool is selected. Come back to the top of the Tools panel and click to select this selection tool. Now, this is a tool you'll use a lot to do things like select and move content. Come out to the document and click in this rectangle to select it. Now, suppose you want to change the color of this rectangle. If you look in the Properties panel to the right of the document, you'll see options available for the content you select, like its position and size, appearance properties, like the fill color here. Let's try changing the color of this object. So click the fill color and select another color to fill it with. You can press Escape to hide the color panel. You'll also see some quick actions down here. These options change depending on what's selected. You can even click underlined words like stroke to see even more options. You can then click away from the panel to hide it. Now the Properties panel is docked on the right side over here with a few other panels called the Layers and the Libraries panels. If you want to see the layers or how the content in the documents is ordered, for instance, you can click the Layers panel tab at the top to show the Layers panel. To show the Properties panel again, click on the Properties panel tab. If you find that you need more space in the document window to work on your document, you can click the arrow at the top of the dock panels to collapse them. This will give you a little bit of space to work. To show the panels again, you can click on a panel name to show the panel, and then click on the tab or panel name to collapse it. Or you can click the arrow at the top of the dock panels again to show them all. Now, there are actually a lot of panels in Illustrator for you to explore. Each contains different options. And they can be opened from the window menu dito sa taas. Alinman sa mga panel that has a check mark is open and currently showing. So nakikita nyo that the properties panel has a check mark, so nakikita siya dito sa right. Try natin magbukas pa ng isang panel. So choose Align to open the Align panel group. A group is, in this case, a series of 3 panels, and you can see each panel has a separate tab. This group is called free floating because it is not docked with the other default panels on the right. You can move them around by dragging the title bar at the top. You can also dock one or more of these panels on the left or right side of the workspace by dragging it into place. So let's dock the Align panel on the right. Drag the Align panel by the tab onto the panel tab names Dock on the right. When a blue highlight appears in the Properties panel group here, release the mouse button. The panel is now added to the group. To close the remaining panels left in the group, click the X in the corner. At some point, as you open, close, and rearrange a lot of these panels, you may want to reset them to their original locations. To do this, you can reset the entire workspace. Punta lang tayo sa Window, go to Workspace, and click on Reset Essentials para maibalik lahat ng panels sa default locations nila. Now, if you see something else chosen in this menu, click Essentials first, then click Reset Essentials. As a last step, tapos na tayo dito sa practice file, so you can close it. Just go to the menu bar, choose File, and click Close without saving. Ngayon na familiar ka na sa Illustrator Workspace and how to manage panels, going forward, you'll be able to easily organize panels that complements your working style. Being able to get around in the Illustrator Workspace by zooming in and out and moving between artboards will make it much easier to create and edit your artwork. So, to get more comfortable with navigating in your documents, let's explore how to zoom in a document, and then you'll learn how to move or pan in the document window. You can open one of your files or this file from the practice files for this tutorial. In Illustrator CC, your content is on artboards. An artboard in Illustrator CC is similar to a page in Microsoft Word or Adobe InDesign. In this particular document, you'll see a series of artboards. You can have a lot of artboards in one document, and they can also be of different sizes. Maybe to design a postcard and a poster for the same client in a single document, which makes it easier to share assets and colors and different things across the different pieces you're creating. The first thing you'll do is select some artwork. So select the selection tools on the tools panel on the left and click on the artwork in this artboard. Once you do that, you should see a subtle black line around this particular artboard. That line tells you that it is the active artboard or the one that you are currently working on. To fit the active artboard in the document window, choose View, Fit Artboard in Window. In this way, mas matutulungan kang mag-focus on a particular artboard in your document. Now, suppose you're working on content on this artboard and then you realize you need to edit artwork on another artboard. You can do that by panning or dragging within the document window with the Hand tool. So in the Tools panel on the left, press and hold on the Zoom tool and select the Hand tool. Press and drag in the document window to move around. It's kind of like moving a piece of paper on your desk, but digitally. To see all the artboards and artwork again, you can choose View, Fit All in Window. When working on with a more detailed artwork, sometimes you want to zoom in or make things appear larger. You can do this several ways. We'll begin by using the Zoom tool. First, let's make sure that nothing is selected. To do that, choose Select, and deselect. To select the Zoom tool in the Tools panel on the left, press and hold on the Hand tool and select the Zoom tool. And come out to the document window, and to zoom in, click once. Where you click is now in the center of the document window. Try clicking a few more times to zoom in closely. Now in the lower left corner, you should see this View menu. This is where you can see the current zoom level and also choose a different zoom level, all the way up to 64,000% para maka-zoom in ka talaga for very detailed work. So, from this menu, choose 100% if it isn't already selected, so you can see the artwork at 100% of its original size. Now to zoom out, which makes your artwork appear smaller so you can see more content at once, with the Zoom tool selected, press the Alt key. You should see a minus sign in the Zoom tool now. Click a few times to zoom out. Eventually, if you click enough times, you'll zoom out far enough to see everything. When you're finished, you can release the Alt key. You can also use the View menu to zoom. Choose the Selection tool again and select this logo. To zoom into the logo, choose View, Zoom in. It's just like clicking with the Zoom tool right on that logo. It's zooming in at a certain amount and centering the logo in the document window. Okay, para makita natin lahat ulit ang lahat ng artwork or artboard sa ating document window, choose View and click Fit All in Window. Being able to navigate your document or your artwork by using the Zoom and the Hand tool is very important in using Adobe Illustrator. Dahil pwede mo mag-zoom para dun sa mga detailed work, yung mga maliliit na mga drawings, or kung gusto mo detalyado talaga yung drawings mo, or you can zoom out para makita mo yung overall design and makita mo kung okay na ba yung design mo. So you can do that by zooming and panning. There are a lot of ways to begin a new project in Illustrator. You can create one from scratch, start from a template, open an existing file, and more. Let's look at how to create a new document to start. With the latest version of Adobe Illustrator CC, you may see the start screen, which appears when no documents are open. Yours might look different, but that's okay. From the start screen, you can open existing files and create new files. Whether or not the start screen is showing, you can always go to the File menu at the top of the screen to open existing documents or to create a new document. Now, to start a document from scratch, choose File, New. The New Document dialog box appears. Now, once again, baka iba ang itsura ng workspace nyo compared sa akin, and that's okay. In this dialog box, you can start by choosing a preset option like Print, Web, or Mobile. So it's important to know sa simula pa lang what type of project you're creating. In this tutorial, you're going to create a document for a poster that is meant to be printed, so click Print to show a series of print document presets. When you choose a print document preset, other settings like the type of color used and the units of measurement are automatically set to accommodate a print project. After choosing a preset, you'll usually choose a document size. Now, there are several options to choose from within each preset. By clicking View All Presets, you can even see additional sizes here. Select Tabloid, and know that if you choose a preset size like Tabloid, you can always change the size and all the other options after the document is open. You may also see a series of templates in the New Document dialog box available from Adobe stock. These templates can be a great way to learn how Illustrator projects are built, and they can be used to jumpstart a project. On the right side of this dialog box, you can see a series of options you can set for the document. Now, most of the time, we won't have to set all of these options, but let's look at some of the options you'll set most. Click to highlight the name, and change it to poster. Di mo naman talaga kailangan iset ang pangalan dito, but later on, when you save your work, this becomes the name of the file. Click points, and from the menu that appears, choose inches. These are called the document units. Later, when you want to measure something or look at a ruler, this is the measurement unit you'll see. Now, pwede natin i-customize ang length and width of a document and change the orientation by clicking one of these options. Now, ang orientation actually is the direction in which a document is displayed or printed. So, click natin yung landscape so that the document is now in landscape or horizontal orientation. Yung artboard na nakikita nyo dito, katulad na diniscuss natin kanina, are similar to pages in Microsoft Word. By default, you start with one artboard in your document, but pwede kayo magdagdag dito. Pwede nyo rin yan gawin after you have created the document. Now, these are just some of the options you can set to set up the document before you get started. You'll become more familiar with the different options the more you work in Illustrator CC. So, ngayon na naset na natin lahat ng options na kailangan natin, let's press Create to create the document. So, the new document opens in Illustrator. To ensure that you can see the entire artboard or page, click View, Fit Artboard in Window. Once nakabukas na ang document in Illustrator, pwede pa rin natin baguhin ang document settings na sinet natin when we created it. In the Properties panel to the right of the document, if you want to change the units, for instance, you can click the Units menu. To change the size of the artboard, you can click Edit Artboards to enter artboard editing mode. You can choose a preset page size from the menu in the Properties panel. So now I want you to go ahead and choose Letter. Depending on your resolution, you may need to scroll up in the menu that appears. You can change the orientation and a whole lot more. To stop editing these artboard settings, you can click the Exit button towards the top of the Properties panel to exit artboard editing mode. Creating new documents in Illustrator is something you'll likely do a lot. There are many different options to explore when you set up a brand new document. Ngayon na nagsisimula pa lang tayo sa Adobe Illustrator, keep it simple and know that you can edit document settings like the artboard size. Later on, pagpamilyar ka na sa kanila. So, to close this document, you can go up to the menus at the top of the screen, click File, Close, and exit without saving. So pag gumagawa ka ng mga files or artworks or documents in Adobe Illustrator, darating ang time na kailangan mo na i-save ang artwork mo. So let's look at a few different ways to do that. Kung gusto mo sumabay, you can open this document from the tutorial Practice Files. Click the File menu up here above the document. And if this is a brand new document and you're saving it for the first time, you can choose Save. So in our case, hindi ito bagong document, so you cannot choose Save. So we're going to save it somewhere else and give it a new name by choosing Save As. Now when you first choose to save a file or Save As, you'll see this Cloud Document dialog box. In Illustrator on the desktop, you can save your document as an Adobe Cloud document or locally on your computer. Now, a cloud document is an Illustrator document stored in the Adobe Cloud, which means you can access them anywhere you sign into Illustrator. That includes Desktop Illustrator and Illustrator on the iPad. Saving as an Illustrator Cloud document or saving it on your computer retains layers, type, and other editable Illustrator properties. The file extension for an Adobe Illustrator Cloud document is .aic for Adobe Illustrator Cloud. Now, when it comes to Adobe Illustrator Cloud documents, your progress are automatically saved. You have access to document history and you can work offline. Sa case natin, let's save it on your computer. So in this dialog box, click Save on your computer. In this Save As dialog box that opens, You can switch to saving as a cloud document by clicking the Save Cloud Document button here. This opens the dialog box for saving to the Adobe Cloud. If you want to save it locally, you can click on your computer, and you'll return to the Save As dialog box. Now, to save on your computer, you can choose a different location to save the file if you like. You can change the name, maybe by adding a hyphen and a version number at the end, like this. That way, you can make a copy and save the original. Make sure that Adobe Illustrator is the chosen format on Save As type in Windows. When you save and work in Adobe Illustrator files, the file has a .ai extension, and everything is preserved so that you can edit it later as you need. Click Save to save a copy of the file. Now, whenever you save a file for the first time, or you save a document as a copy, you'll see this dialog box after saving. This dialog box will seem a little bit overwhelming. The settings in here actually allow you to save an Illustrator document to previous versions of Illustrator, among other more advanced options. In many cases, you can just simply click OK na ating gagawin ngayon. So click natin ang OK to save the file. Now, para makita ng iba ang Illustrator file na sinave mo pa lang, kailangan meron din silang Illustrator. So if they can open a file with Illustrator, they can probably edit it. May mga times na gusto mo lang bigyan ang client mo ng visual copy of your file that anyone can view. You can just save it as a PDF file. Creating and editing shapes is essential in Illustrator. In this section, you'll learn how to draw and edit simple shapes. To follow along, open the practice files you downloaded from the link provided. And para makita natin ang lahat ng document, choose View and click Fit Artboard in Window. Now, para mag-start, pipili tayo ng shape. So select the selection tool in the Tools panel on the left, and then click on this white triangle shape to select it. You'll learn how to draw a few types of simple shapes like this triangle. And slowly, with practice, you'll be able to add shapes to create the robot on the right. So may makikita kayong box surrounding the triangle. This is called the bounding box. This is important for editing shapes, and it should be on by default when you select the shape. Pag wala kayong makitang bounding box, choose View and select Show Bounding Box. Kung ang nakikita nyo ay nakalagay by default ay Hide Bounding Box, you are all set. Now, let's draw our first shape, which is a rectangle. In the Tools panel on the left, click to select the Rectangle tool. Bring the pointer out to the document window and move it around. As you move it, you might see these magenta lines. These are smart guides, and they help you align content. Kung wala kang makitang magenta lines or smart guides, punta ka sa View menu and go down and click Smart Guides. Now, starting on the dashed line here, press and drag to create a rectangle. As you draw with the Shape tool with those Smart Guides on, you'll see a small gray label that gives you measurements like width and height. This shows the type of shape you are creating. Release the mouse button to create a rectangle. Now, most of the shapes that we draw are called live shapes, which means you can resize and move them without switching tools. For instance, to resize this shape you just drew, move the pointer over one of the corners of the rectangle. And when the pointer changes, click and drag to reshape it, making it about the size of the dotted line behind it. As you drag, watch for this diagonal magenta guide. This indicates that it's a perfect square. When you see it, release the mouse button to make the rectangular square. You can also press the Shift key while dragging to make a square. Now notice the small widgets in each corner of this shape. Dragging any of this with the shape selected will let you create rounded corners. So drag any of these corner widgets to the center of the shape just a little to round the corners. You'll actually find that most of the shapes that you draw will have options like these corner widgets. Let's try creating another shape. To see other shape tools, press and hold on the rectangle tool in the Tools panel on the left to show the Shape menu. Then select the Polygon tool. Starting roughly in the center of this dotted triangle, click and drag to make a shape. Ang shapes na nagagawa natin gamit itong tool starts out from the center. When the shape is about this size, press and hold the Shift key to straighten it. Release the mouse button and the Shift key. Polygons also have shape options like rectangles. For instance, this side widget controls the number of sides on a polygon. So drag this side widget up until the shape has 3 sides. To move a shape with the drawing tool selected, you can drag it from this little circle in the center and position it where you need it. Now, ang last type ng shape na gagawin natin is a circle. So, press and hold the Polygon tool in the Tools panel and select the Ellipse tool. Dito sa baba, drag and create a circle. And as you drag, watch for these hinting crosshairs, which means a perfect circle. Release the mouse button when you see them, and the circle is roughly the size you see here. Lastly, you'll create this triangle shape by copying and pasting the triangle you already drew. So, piliin natin yung Select tool on the Tools panel to the left, select the triangle you created, and to copy it, punta tayo sa Edit menu, go down to Copy, and then Edit, Paste. Drag the new triangle down here. Now, para ma-resize natin yung triangle, drag the point on the right side to the left so that it's narrower first, then drag the top point down to make it a little bit shorter. Finally, drag the shape onto these dotted guides. Ngayon na meron na tayong experience sa paggamit ng shapes sa Adobe Illustrator, you can continue to explore by creating the shapes for this robot, which consists of rectangles, circles, and polygons. These dotted guides will help you see which shapes to create where. These donut shapes are actually composed of 2 circles. A smaller circle sa ibabaw ng mas malaking circle, pero binago lang yung fill. Matututunan natin ang pagbago ng color later on in the training. Sa part na to ng tutorial, you'll learn how to draw a line with the line segment tool. You'll also learn what a path is made of. Kung gusto niyo sumabay, you can open the document from the practice files for this tutorial. So we'll start out by adding some branches and trunk to this tree. To draw straight lines, you'll select the Line Segment tool on the Tools panel to the left. So press and hold on the Shape tool you see here in the Tools panel. You might see another Shape tool and select the Line Segment tool. Come out into your design. Para makadraw ng straight line, you press and drag in the direction you want the line to go. So move the pointer into the tree shape, press and drag down. Kung mapapansin niyo, you can move in just about any direction to create a straight line. Now the gray box that you see that shows the distance and angle is a measurement label. You can use that kung gusto mo maging precise sa paggawa mo. Now when the line looks like this, release the mouse. Now kung di mo yung nakita na gray label, go to View and click Smart Guides to turn them on. In Illustrator, ang ginawa natin na line is called a path. Ang isang path is made up of at least 2 anchor points. You can see them here on the ends of the line. And a line segment connecting those anchor points. We can create all kinds of paths in Illustrator. Straight paths or lines, curved paths, and a whole lot more. After sa paggawa mo ng line, you can easily edit it without having to switch tools. To edit the direction and the length of this line, move the pointer over the bottom end of the line. Click and drag, and you'll see that you can move one of the points. As you drag, press the Shift key, and the line will be constrained to 45 degrees. When it's straight up and down, release the mouse button and the Shift key. Now, to change kung gaano kakapal yung line, you can change what's called the stroke weight in the Properties panel to the right of the document. Change the stroke weight to 2 by clicking the up arrow here. Now, you can create a few more lines that will become the branches of the tree. Move the pointer over the line you just drew somewhere in the tree. Press and drag to create a small line like you see here. Draw one more para meron kang dalawa. Now, gagawa tayo ng copy of a line and move it below the buildings. Choose the selection tool in the tools menu to the left and click mo yung pinakaunang line na ginawa mo, which is the trunk of the tree. To copy it, make sure it's selected, go to Edit menu, choose Copy, and go again to Edit, then choose Paste. So we want this line to go under the buildings horizontally. So to rotate the line, move the pointer just off of one end of the line, and when you see a little rotate arrow appear, click and drag to rotate the line. When the line is perfectly horizontal, release the mouse button. Now, to move a line you've drawn, you can drag it from the center point. So, drag the line below these buildings. To make the line longer, drag the right end of the line to the right. Once you do this, makikita mo ulit yung magenta line, which serves as a guide indicating that you're making the line longer or you are extending it. Now, try natin baguhin ang stroke weight and the color of this line. To do that, make sure that the line is still selected. Change the stroke weight in the Properties panel to the right to 16 by choosing 16 from the menu. To change the color of the line, click the stroke color in the Properties panel. Click this Swatches button so that you can see a bunch of colors called swatches you can choose from. And then select whatever color that you desire. In this case, I'm going to choose orange. Ngayon, na marunong ka na gumawa and edit lines, you can practice creating them by adding to these buildings. Pwede kayong maglagay ng bintana. You can also change the color and the weight of the stroke by changing it in the Properties panel. In Illustrator, you can use simple shapes and paths as the building blocks of a more complex artwork by combining them in different ways. In this video, you're going to learn how to combine these shapes to create the final artwork you see on the right. So again, to follow along, you can open this practice file from the link provided. To make sure that you see everything, choose View and Fit Artboard in Window. Magsisimula tayo by making this main shape. Here, there is a circle and a rectangle that are overlapping. They need to be combined into a single shape to give us this shape in the final artwork. Now, to be able to edit these shapes, you need first to select them. With the selection tool selected, drag across the two shapes to select all of them. If there are also other artworks underneath, you can press Shift and click all of the artwork to select multiple shapes. To combine these shapes, we will use the Shape Builder tool in the Tools panel on the left. So select the Shape Builder tool and drag across both shapes to combine them. You can tell what shapes are to be combined with a cross-hatching that shows up. Also, the red outline you see reveals the final shape that will be created. Release the mouse button to combine the shapes. Besides combining shapes, you can also remove parts of the shapes with the Shape Builder tool. These shapes needs to be combined, and these top and bottom parts needs to be removed to create an eye shape from the overlapping area, like you see over here in the final artwork. The first thing that we need to do is to select all of the shapes with the selection tool. So select the selection tool in the tools panel, drag across the two circles to select them. Select the shape builder tool in the tools panel, and to remove parts of these shapes, press the Alt key and you'll see a minus sign in the pointer. When you click, whatever is highlighted will be removed. So with the Alt key held down, click on the top part of the circle to remove it, and with the Alt key still held down, click on the bottom part of the circle to remove it. After that, you can now release the Alt key. Now, you can move this eye shape onto the other shape to start putting them together. So select the selection tool in the tools panel again and drag the eye onto the first shape you combined. Now, we'll create the small moon shape you see in the final artwork using these two small circles. So select the two small circles with the selection tool by dragging across them. So para makita natin na mabuti ang ginagawa natin, go to View and zoom in. Now, select the Shape Builder tool, press Alt, and this time, start from the right towards the overlapping part of the circles to remove them, leaving a crescent moon shape. Release the mouse button and the Alt key. Now, we will need to assemble all of these shapes to create the final artwork. Start by selecting the Selection tool in the tool panel and drag the crescent moon towards the small black circle. Then, drag across both shapes to select them and drag them on to the eye shape. To finish the artwork, drag the blue shape onto the other shapes. Now that you know how to combine shapes in different ways with the Shape Builder tool, you can experiment with your own artwork. Start with simple shapes, combining them to create artwork for logos, posters, or whatever that you need. Ang importante is to have fun with it. It's really amazing what you can create by just combining simple shapes. Adobe Illustrator excels at working with vector artwork, which is made up of lines and shapes instead of pixels. But you can also add raster images to your designs. Raster images like JPEGs or PNGs consists of pixels, which are aligned in a grid to form an image. When raster images are scaled up or down, they can quickly lose quality and appear distorted and/or fuzzy. In Illustrator, if you want to edit and scale a raster image, you can trace the image to create editable paths from it. When you do that, you're essentially turning a raster image into vector artwork, which can easily be scaled up or down without losing quality. Using this project, you'll learn about tracing raster images to create vector artwork. Then you'll see how to trace or edit that vector artwork. Finally, you'll add that artwork to an existing design on the right. With the selection tool selected, click the image on the left to select it. This is a picture taken of a drawing in a sketchbook. Now, to capture just the robot sketch and add it to the birthday card design in the right, you'll trace the image to convert it from raster to vector artwork using the Image Trace feature in Illustrator. With the image selected, click the Image Trace button in the Properties panel on the right. Now, when you trace an image, you have a series of options you can set from the menu that appears depending on the option that you want. So choose Default to start. This setting can be really useful if you want to trace content and separate it from a background, for instance. To try another preset option, Click the present option that now shows in the Properties panel on the right and choose Low Fidelity Photo from the menu. Kamukha niya yung original na image pero meron na siyang color. Now, para makuha natin yung main shapes na kailangan natin, choose Sketched Art from the same preset menu. Now, maraming other options for fine-tuning or tracing your art. Kayo na lang ang bahala, i-click nyo lang dito sa side na to. Kayo na ang bahala pumili. You can do it by trial and error to achieve what you want. Now, our tracing looks good, so wala na tayong kailangan baguhin sa options. Now, even though na-convert na natin yung image into shapes, hindi pa rin siya editable sa lagay na to. What you need to do when you're finished tracing is to expand the artwork so that it can be edited. Note na once na-expand mo ang artwork, you cannot try other trace settings. You are essentially committing to the tracing you already created. So click the Expand button on the Properties panel to be able to edit the vector artwork. Now, para ma-select natin yung robot lang, wala itong mga nasa gilid niya, you need to use the Lasso tool. So on the Tools panel, click on the Direct Selection tool, itong white na arrow, hold down and click the Lasso tool that appears on the menu. Punta tayo doon sa artwork and drag around carefully para ma-select lang natin yung robot head. Now, copy the robot head by going to Edit, Copy, then again, Edit, then Paste para madala natin siya sa right side. Now, as you can see, this robot head is actually made up of a series of smaller traced objects. To keep them together, we need to group them. Click the Group button on the Properties panel to the right. Now, to move the robot head into the position on the right, select the Selection tool and drag the robot over here. Now, kailangan natin siya i-resize para magkasya dun sa blue shape. So to resize it, you need to drag the corner of the artwork and make it a little smaller. Just make sure that when you drag, you press the Shift key para hindi ma-distort ang image. Pag tama na para sa inyo ang size, release the mouse button and the Shift key. Then, drag it into the center of the blue shape behind it. To change the color of the robot head, click the Fill Color on the Properties panel on the right. Make sure the Swatch button is selected, then select the white color. You can then press the Escape key to hide the colors. Para mas makita mo na mabuti yung artwork or yung robot head, choose Select and deselect. Ngayon na marunong ka na mag-trace and gumawa ng vector graphics from existing raster graphics, you can now create your own design by simply tracing from existing pictures. Sa final output ng course na to, you will be asked to convert the logo of your school into a vector artwork. In Adobe Illustrator, you can transform content by rotating, moving, scaling, and more. So let's look at the way you can apply transformations to artwork in this project to complete it. So let's start by resizing some content. To be able to do that, select the Selection tool in the Tools panel on the left and select the small circle here. Now, para mas makita natin na mabuti, click the View menu and click Zoom in several times hanggang sa makita natin na mabuti yung small circle. Now again, by selecting this circle, you can see that it is surrounded by the bounding box. Again, you can transform artwork in different ways by dragging these handles. Now, let's try to resize the circle by dragging one of the corners of the bounding box. And as you do that, you can see that there is again the magenta guide or the magenta line which shows you that it's a perfect circle. So let's adjust the circle into a smaller circle. Once nakuha mo na yung size, release the mouse button. Now we can drag it into the center of the flower. Now, that's one way to transform shapes visually by dragging. Now, you'll transform a shape by entering specific values in the Properties panel. In the Properties panel, which you see here on the right, you can change the shape, width, height, rotation, and a lot more. Specifying values can ensure precision and also lets you see a shape's dimension and transformations already applied to that shape. So, with the circle still selected, click this option to constrain the width and height, meaning if you change one value, the other changes proportionally. Then, select this width value by dragging across and type 0.2. Then, click the height field and you'll notice that the dimension changes, maintaining the same proportions. Now, you'll rotate a shape. So click this yellow flower shape to select it. This shape needs to be rotated so that it looks good when you add it to the other flower shapes you see on the right. To rotate it, move the pointer just off of any corner and you should see these rotate arrows. When you see them, click and drag to rotate them. As you rotate, you'll see a gray measurement label with the rotation angle. Now, keep dragging, and as you drag, press the Shift key to constrain the rotation of 45 degrees. When it looks like this, release the mouse button first, then the Shift key. Now, drag natin tong shape onto the flower shapes on the right, roughly sa center. Now, it appears behind the other shape kasi mas nauna itong ginawa compared sa other shapes on the right. Lahat ng objects sa Illustrator ay nagpapatong-patong depende kung kailan mo siya ginawa. So, this yellow flower shape would look much better if it was a little bit larger. So, i-resize natin to na flower from the center because nasa tama na siyang posisyon. So the way you do that is you press Shift and Alt button as you drag the flower. Once nakuha nyo na ang tamang size, release the mouse button, then the keys. The Alt button resizes the object from the center and the Shift button constrains the proportion para hindi ma-distort as we are resizing. So para makita natin lahat, again, choose View and Fit Artboard in Window. So, i-move natin lahat ng flower shapes into position. To do that, click the Selection tool and drag across all of the objects to select them. And then drag the entire flower into position here. Now this dome shape you see here actually needs to be rotated as well. Using the Rotate tool in the Tools panel, you can set a point to rotate around this point down here. That way, you don't have to move it when you're done rotating. So first, with the Selection tool, click to select this dome shape. Then, select the Rotate tool on the Tools panel on the left. If you move the pointer over here, you'll notice this crosshair on the center of the shape. This is called the reference point. It tells you that if you rotate the shape, it will rotate around the center. To move this point, click and release on the corner to set the reference point, or where it will rotate around now. Then move the pointer away and press and drag anywhere out here to rotate the shape. Again, as you drag, press the Shift key to constrain the movement. When it's in place, release the mouse button and then the key. So para makita natin lahat ng artwork, you need to deselect it. So go to Select, then click Deselect. So sa Illustrator, marami talagang options sa pag-transform ng artwork. And it's something you'll do often. It's also a great way to create distinctive artwork. So experiment with the different ways to transform na natutunan niyo dito. In Illustrator, artwork like this bird may be made up of several objects that have been aligned or combined to create a finished piece. To keep and move sets of objects together, which allows you to transform them and move them together, you can group them. Let's look at how to group objects together first, and then how to edit individual objects within a group. Now to start, try natin i-group itong bird artwork together. So select the selection tool in the Tools panel and click to select the wing of the bird. So para mas makita natin, let's zoom into it by clicking View and clicking Zoom in a few times hanggang sa maging malinaw sa atin. So, kung hahatakin natin yung isang wing lang, mapapansin nyo na yung wing lang na yun ang gumalaw, hindi kasama yung buong ibon. This is because this bird is made up of several shapes. So, ibalik natin yung wing by pressing Edit and Undo. Grouping all of the shapes that make up the bird will make these shapes stay together. Grouping artwork can help make things organized and make it easier to select artworks, like a logo or this bird that contains several smaller objects. So to select all of the bird shapes, press and drag across them. To group them together, click the Group button toward the bottom of the Properties panel on the right. You can group all sorts of content together, even group content within another group. Click away from the bird in a blank area to deselect it. Then click to select that wing again. Notice that all of the shapes that make up the bird are selected. Also notice the word Group at the top of the Properties panel on the right, which tells you that it's a group object. Grouped objects can be moved or transformed as a whole without affecting the individual objects within the group. To resize this bird group, press the Shift key and drag a corner of the group to scale the bird and make it smaller. When you're finished, release the mouse button and then the Shift key. Pressing the Shift key when resizing constrains the proportion so that you don't distort the artwork. Para makita yung buong artwork and makita natin yung proportions, select View and Fit Artboard to Window. Drag the bird down here so you can put it into its final position. Now, when you want to edit a content within a group, you can either ungroup the content to access the individual objects or simply isolate the group, which you're going to do next. So next, you'll group the sailboat artwork together, then you'll edit the content within that group. To select all of the objects, press and drag across all of them down here. And to group them, click the Group button in the Properties panel. Now, the orange sail on the right needs to be moved down. But if you click away from the group and click on that sail, the whole group is selected. To select one object in a group, you can isolate the group so you can edit all the individual objects. Double-click the orange sail and the rest of the artwork is dimmed, meaning you can't select or edit it, and a bar also appears in the document window. Now you can edit the individual shapes within this group. This is called isolation mode. Drag the larger sail shape down to align it with a smaller sail. Now, to stop editing in isolation mode, you can exit isolation mode. To be able to exit, just press Escape and click in a blank area to deselect the sail. Then click back on the sail to select the entire group. Drag the sailboat group into the water above. Now the sailboat appears behind the wave shape because the wave shape was created after the sailboat, kaya siya nasa ibabaw. Grouping content can really save you a lot of time by organizing your artwork, making it easier to move and select artworks made of multiple shapes. Now na marunong ka na mag-group ng objects, you can use it to organize your own artwork. In this part, you're going to learn how to erase artwork using the eraser tool. Then you learn how to cut artwork to create different paths and shapes using the scissors tool. Now again, you can get these practice files in the link provided if you want to follow along. Now to start with, the handle parts that appear between these lines needs to be removed. So the text you're gonna put here is more readable. You can use the eraser tool to erase content. Now we need to select them first because erasing with the eraser tool only affects selected artworks. Also, know that the eraser tool in Illustrator is only meant to erase vector artwork like shapes and paths, not raster images you place in Illustrator. With the selection tool selected in the Tools panel, click one of the green handle shapes. Pressing the Shift key, click the other handle shape to select them both. To zoom in to the artwork, click View and zoom in a few times hanggang sa maging malinaw yung artwork. To erase, select the Eraser tool on the Tools panel on the left. When you move the eraser onto the document, the circle and the crosshair that you see indicate the size of the eraser. So press and drag across the green handles to erase part of them. Then try pressing and dragging across the line down here. And notice that it looks like erasing, but when you release the mouse button, nothing happens. That's because the line isn't selected. Now you can also erase in a straight line. This is really useful when erasing along an edge, for instance. To erase in a straight line, you press the Shift key. So pressing the Shift key, press and drag across here to erase straight across. Release the mouse button, then the key. Now don't worry about it being perfect. You can always undo what you did using Edit and undo Eraser and then try again. Do the same here with the Shift key held down. After you're finished, release the Shift key and drag across the rest of the green handle shapes in the middle to remove them. Now, to temporarily lock the handles so you don't actually select or move them later, choose Object in the menu, Lock, then Selection. Another way to edit vector artwork is to cut shapes and paths to create new ones. You'll remove the center part of this line between the handles. Now, to do that, you'll cut the single path into 3 separate paths using the Scissors tool, so you can delete the middle path. Now, to cut this line, you're going to select it first. So go to the Selection tool in the Tools panel and click to select this line. Then drag it down a little bit so it's easier to see. To select the Scissors tool in the Tools panel to the left, press and hold on the Eraser tool to show the other tools. The Scissors tool is meant to cut a path into multiple paths, or cut a shape at a point. So, select the Scissors tool, then click on the path here to cut it. Medyo mahirap siya makita, but this path is now cut into 2 different length paths. Click over here to cut the path on the right, and now there are 3 paths. Now you select the middle path to delete it. Select the Selection tool, click away from the artwork, and click on the center path to select it, then press Backspace or Delete to remove it. And drag each of the remaining paths up here. To see the whole design again, choose View and Fit Artboard in Window. To finish this, drag this Nowhere text into the area where you erased. Lahat ng tools na natutunan nyo ngayon can be used to create all kinds of artwork. For example, you can create a cloud by using several circles and removing the middle part to form a cloud. Try nyo mag-edit gamit ang eraser tool and scissors and tignan natin kung anong magagawa nyo mga artwork. Adobe Illustrator is used for vector drawing, which means you use it to create shapes and different types of paths. In this part, you'll learn what vector paths are made of by using different tools to explore paths in this project file. You can download and open this practice file if you want on the link provided. Start by selecting the selection tool on the tools panel on the left. Then come out to the artwork and click right on this line to select it. This is a straight path. Paths are composed of anchor points at the start and then of a simple path with a path or line segment connecting those anchor points. In a path like this, the anchor points control the direction and length of a path. Now, let's look at the curved path you see here. Select the zoom tool on the left and drag across this path here to zoom in. Then select the selection tool on the tools panel on the left and click right on the curved path above the line. When you select the path with the selection tool, a bounding box surrounds the path, allowing you to resize, rotate, and transform the path as a whole. Try dragging a corner of the box to see how it reshapes the path. In the Properties panel to the right of the document, you'll see the properties of the selected path. Notice that there is a stroke applied to this path, but no fill. Click the fill color and make sure the swatches option is selected, and then select the color. I'll select this color, blue. Notice the stroke doesn't completely surround the fill. This path is called an open path because the anchor points on the ends of the path are not connected. Now to remove that color fill, click Edit and click Undo Swatch. If you want to edit a path by adjusting the curve, for instance, you need to edit the anchor point. To see the anchor points that control this path, you need to select the Direct Selection tool in the Tools panel on the left. The Direct Selection tool can be used to adjust the path and the individual anchor points. This could give you control over the shape of the paths after you've created it. Move the pointer over the top of the anchor point of the curve. When you see the word anchor, click to select the anchor point. You should see the lines coming from the anchor point now. These are called direction handles or control handles. Any anchor point you create can have these handles, and they can be used to curve a path and control the shape of that curve. Try dragging the end of a handle, and you'll see that the curve of the path changes. The last type of path that you're going to look at are shapes. A shape like a circle or a square is a closed path, since the starting and ending of the anchor point are the same. In other words, all the anchor points are connected one to another in the shape. With the Direct Selection tool selected, click the edge of the circle shape to select it. You should see 4 anchor points that control the curve of the path. Move the pointer over one of the anchor points and then click to select it. You'll see the direction handles that control the curve. Try dragging this anchor point to move it, then drag the end of a direction handle, and you'll see that the curve of the path changes. Maraming paths and shapes na pwede kang gawin sa Illustrator. And all of them are made up of anchor points, paths, and when necessary, direction handles to create a curve. Understanding the paths and anchor points is a great first step in creating and editing your work in Illustrator. The Curvature tool in Adobe Illustrator is a great way to create vector artwork easily. You'll use it to create the guitar artwork you see here on the right by drawing the paths that make up this guitar, and then assembling the shape on the artboard on the right. Again, if you want to follow along, you can open this file from the practice files in the link provided. So let's open the file, and just to make sure that you can see all of the artwork, click View and Fit All in Window. You'll start by zooming in into the first area where you'll begin drawing. So select the Zoom tool in the Tools panel on the left and drag across the purple area on the left to zoom in. You'll begin by drawing the body of the guitar here. So select the Curvature tool in the Tools panel on the left. The Curvature tool is used to create paths by clicking to set anchor points. Before you start drawing though, in the Properties to the panel on the right, you'll change some appearance settings. Make sure the Swatches option is selected and choose None, so you can remove the fill while you draw. You can then press Escape to hide the colors. And make sure the stroke weight is set to 1. This will be the fill and stroke settings for the artwork you're about to draw. Now the circles in the documents out to set anchor points for a path. So starting at the top, click to create the first anchor point. After you release the mouse button, move the pointer to the next circle and click to create another anchor point. After you release the mouse pointer button again, move the pointer away and notice that a curved path is created between these 2 points. Move the pointer around to get a feeling for how it's creating the curve. Then come to the next point and click to set it, then move the pointer away again. As you draw with the Curvature tool, you can edit the anchor points you've already drawn, even moving them, adding more, or deleting them. Come to the previous point you created and move the pointer over it. Click to select it. Drag that point to see how you can move them and reshape the path. Then drag it back where it was. Click to create the next point and continue clicking to create the points all the way around this shape. To close the path, move the pointer over the first point you created. And when a circle appears next to the pointer, click to close the path and finish drawing this shape. Now you can also create straight lines with the Curvature tool, which is what you'll do next to create the neck of this guitar. So let's come over here and click to set the first anchor point. Then click to set the point on the corner to the right and move the pointer away. Notice the path has a curve. Now, to make this path straight, move the pointer over the last anchor point you created and double-click on it, and move the pointer away. The path is now straight. You can also work faster by double-clicking to create a point and make a straight line at the same time. So come to where the next point will go down here and double-click to create an anchor point with a straight path. Then double-click to create the next point. Come back to the original point you created and double-click to close the path and finish drawing with a straight line. Paths you create with any of the drawing tools can also be edited with the Curvature tool. To see artwork that you'll edit, press the spacebar to temporarily access the Hand tool, and then drag in the document window to see the orange area that you'll edit below. Release the spacebar. To zoom in across this area, select the Zoom tool and drag across it. This shape needs a curve at the bottom, not a straight line. So next, you'll add a new point and reposition it with the Curvature tool. First, you need to select the path. Select the Selection tool on the Tools panel and click the edge of the shape to select it. Then, select the Curvature tools again in the Tools panel. Now, with the shape selected, move the pointer over the bottom path. When the plus sign appears next to the pointer, click to add a point. Then drag the new point down to give the bottom of the shape some curve. Deleting a point is just as easy. You can actually click to select a point with the curvature tool and press backspace or delete to remove it. To finish the artwork, you'll drag all of the shapes you created into place. To see everything, choose View, Fit All in Window. Select the selection tool and drag each of these shapes by their edges, since they don't have a fill, into position on the right. With the curvature tool, practice makes perfect. Gamitin nyo lang parati para masanay kayo. So that ends my talk for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something new. Until we see each other again, thank you. Bye. Okay, good morning po. Let's try applying all of the things that we've learned so far by opening up. Ito po yung magiging output nyo. So I want you to follow me. Please open the link provided. I think nasa ticker po or nasa group chat. Please follow the link and open the Penguin output file. So once na-open nyo po yun, that is an Illustrator file. So what you're going to do is sasabayan nyo ako. And let's try turning this sketch into vector art. And lalagyan din natin ng kulay. And that will be your output din po for this session. So, are you ready po? Pa-like naman po pag ready na. I hope you're following. Okay po. So, let's start. Okay. So, first thing that we need to do, okay, marunong na tayo mag-zoom and pan. Naalala pa ba? Spacebar pag magpa-pan. Then pag mag-zoom, can either click yung view or yung zoom tool. So let's zoom in para makita natin. So that is a rough sketch of a penguin. Hindi po ako may gawa niyan. I just got it from YouTube para mas madali. Okay. So, ask ko lang na i-enlarge, sir. Ano na lang? Pa-feature, sir, ng share screen para mas makita nila. Okay. So, now you have the penguin. So, first, again po, ito magiging output ninyo. So please follow me. Okay. So first thing that we need to do is get the rectangle tool that's here sa toolbar or tool panel rather. Then drag. So, hindi naman natin kailangan maging perfect lahat. Just make it so na may estimate mo na sakto yung mga lines and spaces. All right. So, let's move. Okay, let's zoom in. Now, you can see yung mga widgets na to. Again, we can pull that and sabay-sabay magra-round yung mga edges. Now, in our case, ang kailangan lang natin is yung sa taas. So what you do is, again, with the selection tool, then you highlight it. Just click it. So then hold shift, then click the other one. If you notice, nagbago yung kulay niya. So if you pull it down, this time, alin na lang ang sumasabay? Ang sumasabay na lang is yung nasa taas. So let's do that again para clear. With the selection tool, click the path, then you will see this. Itong dalawa. So let me zoom in para makita nyo. So, you can see itong dalawang widget. So what you do is, with the selection tool, click it and magiging white siya. Then you move on, hold shift, then click, then pull down. Make it so na adjust mo siya na maging roughly maging parehas dun sa sketch sa ibaba. Okay. Now, please take note that we are in a second layer. So, tignan nyo to. nandun tayo sa second layer para hindi natin, nakalock yung sketch sa ibaba para di natin magalaw. Okay. So now that we have the first part of the penguin, let's have the second part. Itong sa may trunk niya. Again, that is another rectangle. So what you do is, with the sa tool panel, punta kayo sa rectangle tool, then create another rectangle, then adjust so that maging ka-match niya yung drawing. Okay. Then again, this time, how many points ang i-round natin? We only need this part. So what you do is, again, with the selection tool, get again the widget, then click it para maging white, indicating na yan lang ang gagalaw, then pull it down. Okay, so now we have the draft of the body. Now we have the eyes, or rather yung circle sa may mata. So what you do is, go to the panel, to the tool panel, then hold para lumabas yung ellipse tool. Okay, so with the ellipse tool, again, you press shift para ma-constrain yung shape. So this one, I'm not pressing shift, hindi siya perfect circle. However, if you press shift, again, nakikita niyo magenta na crosshair, that means it's a perfect circle. If you release the shift, so what happens is, hindi constrained yung proportions niya. So what I want you to do is press shift, then estimate niyo yung size. So, pwede naman dito natin siya gawin para mas madali. So again, you don't need it to be perfect. The background is just a sketch. So ang magiging final is yung vector na lines na ginagawa natin ngayon. So, what if nalagay na natin siya sa gitna? Now, the best way to resize that is to press Shift and Alt, katulad ng tinuro ko kanina. This one, adjust from the center, and the Shift key constrains the proportions of the circle. So that is a perfect circle. So I hope you follow that. Again, you go to the ellipse tool, then drag by holding out Shift and Alt. So we now have the eyes. Okay, now let's have the beak, the tail, and the flippers. So what we do is, we go to the ellipse tool, then hold, then we get the polygon tool. Okay, so we are going to make a polygon. By default, in my case, it's a pentagon. So we can adjust that. What you do is, you press the polygon tool, then click muna sa labas. Just click whatever na blank. Then, the polygon option will appear. So, what we want to do is to get a polygon with 3 sides, or basically a triangle. So you just type 3, then click OK. So now you have a triangle. So, alisin na natin yung polygon tool, then click the selection tool. Then, drag it around. Again, in Adobe Illustrator, huwag kayong mag-worry kasi pwede pa rin ma-edit natin lahat ng nailagay natin. That is the difference between vector graphics and raster. Okay, so the paths are still editable kahit magkamali ka. So, now, in our case, hahanapin natin yung shape ng beak. So what we do is, rotate the triangle like so. Okay, so medyo malaki. So let's resize it. In this case, you don't have to press shift since this is not a perfect triangle. So rough estimation lang tayo. We don't need to be perfect. So again, ito yung sinasabi ko, that you need to be familiarized with the panning and zooming kasi for detailed work. In this case, maliit yung beak, so zoom in tayo para mas magiging madali para sa atin. So roughly estimate kung nasaan yung beak. Okay, like so. Now, masyadong matalim naman yung beak. So, what we do is, try to get this white widget here. Parehas yan yung nasa rectangle. When you pull it, all of the edges become round. Okay po? So, pull it like so. Okay, estimate nyo lang para... Okay, so now we have the beak. Now, we don't have to go through all that process again. What you just do is to copy the triangle that you made, Control C or edit, copy, then edit, paste. So now you have another triangle. Then we'll use it for the flippers. So adjust lang, trial and error. That's what's good with Adobe Illustrator kasi lahat ng path, lahat ng shape, editable pa rin na siya. Okay, so now you have the flippers. Then let's have the tail. Again, paano ang pag-rotate? Just wait for the tool to change into a rotation arrow. So you can rotate it. If you press shift, constrain siya to 45 degrees. But if you really shift, freely you can freely rotate it without constraints. So estimate natin yung tail. Try to overlap the lines as straight as possible. Okay, so let's make some fine adjustments. Okay, so again, the magenta lines tell you that the object is or the shape is properly aligned. Okay, let's have the next part. Let's have the little bit of hair here. So what you do is you go to the line segment tool. Then easily, ang dali lang po niyan, lagay natin dito. So 1, 2. Now in our case, pangit naman na medyo may kanto yung hair. So maybe we could adjust it so that rounded siya. So what you do is you go to the right to the properties panel, then you click stroke. Yes, click stroke. Then nakalagay doon cap. What is cap? Yung sa tip po siya. You can either have a butt cap like that na straight or you have a round cap. So you click round cap. So as you see, naging rounded yung edge niya. So let's do that for the other one. Click stroke, then round cap. So now you have the hair. Let's zoom out. This time, let's have the eyes. So very simple lang yung eyes. You just go to the line segment tool, or rather, okay, the line segment tool, then you go to the arc tool. Again, go to the line to the tools panel, then you go to the arc tool. Then gawa kayo ng arc. Now don't worry kung hindi siya ka-aligned. You can just adjust it later. Okay, so this time, rough approximation lang po. Okay. So we don't have to follow it line by line. Again, that is just a sketch. Okay, so you now have the eyes. We're almost done. Okay, let's have the feet. Again, that is a rectangle. So get the rectangle tool. Then, estimate nyo lang. Okay. So, you've guessed it, isa lang po ang hahatakin natin na corner option tool. So, with the selection tool, drag the white corner option tool, then drag. So you now have the first of the 2 feet. So copy, then paste. Okay, now yung isa medyo malaki, yung itong ikalawa medyo maliit. So you just need to adjust. Again, please be guided by the magenta lines para mas madali. Okay, so you now have the feet. Now, up here, meron siyang special na design which is a star within a polygon. rather a pentagon. So what you do is go to the rectangle tool, then punta ka sa polygon tool. Now, again, the polygon tool, kasi in-adjust natin siya kanina, click sa labas and tell the polygon tool that you want a 5-point polygon, which is a pentagon. Okay, so now you have the pentagon, then you can again press Shift and Alt to constrain the proportions. Then you can adjust. Do it like so. Okay, now, pwede natin siya kapalan yung stroke. You can do that by selecting the pentagon, then going here sa right side. You can have it as thick as you want. So for our case, medyo 2 points lang tayo. Since this will be a very small embellishment sa chest niya. So let's have the star. This time, go again to the polygon tool and pick the star tool. Okay. Hold shift and drag. So you now have a star. Ganun lang po siya kadali. Okay? So, again, you don't have to follow the sketch that strictly. Okay, so you now have the embellishment. Mamaya natin siya ilalagay. Now, the question now is, makanusun mga sir na penguin. Ang pangit ng penguin because it has those lines indicating na iba-ibang shapes na pinagtagpi-tagpi lang. So don't worry because from the lesson kanina, the previous lesson, we can combine all of these shapes. So how do we combine it? Now, click the selection tool, then drag throughout the entire image to select all of them. Okay, pa-heart naman po pag nasunod. Kung nakuha po, pa-heart react naman po dyan. Okay, so when all of the image is selected, or rather the paths, ang gagawin natin is go to the, okay, you guessed it, the Shape Builder tool. So this time, we're going to create kung ano yung mga magkakagrupong mga shapes. So again, the Shape Builder tool does not work if nothing is selected. Okay, so let's think about this. Ano ba ang magkakagrupo? The body is, of course, connected to the arms, to the flippers, and to the tail. Notice that when I point dun sa area na selected, magkakaroon siya ng cross-hatching or na-highlight siya. That means yun ang magiging shape na mabubuo mo when you apply the Shape Builder tool. So what I want you to do is go to the body, then go straight, press the mouse, then isama niyo po yung flippers. Like so. So if you notice, nagrupo na po yung lahat ng, nawala na yung triangle. So let's do that again. Click the body, then punta ka, press the mouse, then drag it papunta doon sa flipper. If you notice, nag-gray na yung flipper, that means isasama siya doon sa body. Then do again the same hanggang makompleto mo yung flippers. So you now have the entire flipper as part of the main body. Do the same. Again, take note, it has to be selected. Do the same with the tail. Go to the first part, again, highlighting the first part of the tail, then the second one. So you now have the tail. So medyo kompleto na siya. However, dun tayo sa beak, hindi part ng body yung beak. You have to think about it kung paano mo siya kukulayan. Of course, kung kulayan mo yung body ng black, ang mangyayari, pati itong beak magiging black. So we have to exclude it. So, what I want you to do is go to the right side para galing sa right, then drag. So you now have your beak. Again, let's go to the feet. Okay, so this time, may isang line. Dapat buo itong paa. So you go from the left, then drag to the right. You now have both of your feet. So you now have the shape of your penguin. So ang natitira na lang is try natin siyang kulayan. Now, sa pag-color, it's very easy. You have to take note na hindi raster graphics ang ine-edit. Hindi magaling masyado ang Illustrator sa pag-edit ng raster graphics. So, We can make complicated colors din sa Illustrator, but mas maganda kung mga gradient dun ka sa Photoshop. So in our case, simple lang tayo ng color na pag-color. Let's have the first color. Let's have a simple black para sa body ng or back ng penguin hanggang sa head. So again, if you select the body, isang shape na lang siya. So what you do is you go to the stroke, or rather the fill. Now, this symbol means walang color yung fill. So you click the white box with the red diagonal line, then click swatches, then you pick black. That means that will be your fill. So, meron ng color yung penguin. Again, this is a simple color. Now, let's move on to the beak. So, yung beak natin, let's have, it doesn't have to be over complicated. Let's have a fill of a yellow or orange na mixture. So you can have that. So you now have a basic na shape. Then, the next one, let's have the feet. Now, what you can do is, again, go to the fill. So what I did is, para mas madali, I click the selection tool and I click the path, then hold shift para maka-multiple selection ako. So, go to the fill, then, kasi paa siya, maybe dirty, so maybe we could put a darker shade of orange. So you now have the feet. Now, paano sir yung badge niya? Okay, so let's go here. So maybe I want the color to be blue. So again, choose the pentagon. Then what we do is click the fill. Then maybe let's have a sort of a blue. Okay, now you have the color of the pentagon as blue. Then choose the star. Then fill it with yellow. Now, kanina, I taught you how to group it para mas madali because if we drag this shape, ang sasama lang is yung pentagon. So what we do is drag with the selection tool, choose all of the images or the paths, then click group. So now it is grouped, so sasama yung dalawa. Kuha po? Okay. So, let's now try moving. Again, using the navigation tools na tinuro ko kanina, I'm pressing spacebar and dragging the mouse. Okay, so let's move it here. Then, again, with Shift and Alt selected, you can resize it like so. Okay, so now you have made the penguin. Palike naman dyan kung nakuha nyo. Sino yung mga nakakuha? Marami bang nagla-like? Okay, marami daw nakakuha. So, you can further complicate this, kung gusto nyo, by putting simple shadows. So, in putting simple shadows, what we do is you go to the layer, then you create another layer para hindi natin magalaw yung layer sa ilalim. So again, you have a green layer, or rather, the lines, by the way, mapapansin nyo, unlike sa Photoshop, mapapansin nyo kung anong layer yung ina-adjust nyo by the color of the lines. Say for example, if I am on the third layer, ang indication niya is light green. Therefore, pag gumawa ako ng line, take a look at the line, light green siya, or bright green. So, ibig sabihin, I am modifying the third layer. Same goes with the second layer. It will be red, and the first layer will be blue. So, with the curvature tool, yung katulad na ginawa natin sa guitar, let's create a shadow sa may eye. So, simple lang, the shadow will be, of course, gray or grayish, a little bit darker than white. So, you start from the outside. Again, ang paglagay ng curvature tool is you first create an anchor, then dun tayo sa mga apex ng kung saan mo gusto mag-curve yung curvature tool. So, we made 3 points, then connect nyo na lang sa likod. just make sure na hindi siya lumabas doon sa black. Okay. Now, napapansin nyo, meron siyang outline. Let's remove the stroke. Click the color of the stroke, then click mo yung no stroke. So, wala na siyang stroke. Now, ano man nga sir na klaseng penguinan, gano'n ngayon may ilang. Okay, so hindi ganyan. So what we're going to do is to go to the layers and click the layer and drag the layer underneath. So now you have a shadow. So, nakukuha po ba? Now you have the shadow under the eye. Then, you go to the trunk para gawa ulit tayo ng shadow. Again, you go with the curvature tool. Then, make sure na yung layer, yung green layer, yung layer 3 na binaba natin ang napipili nyo. Then, create another curve. Then, it doesn't have to be perfect. Then, release. So, you now have the shadow. So, your penguin is now a lot more complicated. So, this will be your output for this session. Kung napapansin nyo, madali lang siya. Again, all you have to do is follow the instructions. Then, ang pinaka maglilimit lang sa inyo is your creativity. So now, let's try hiding the first layer, yung sketch layer. So now you have your own penguin. Now, you can resize that as you want. Select mo lang lahat. Then, click shift. You can resize it. You can rotate it. Kayo na po ang bahala. Again, the limit of this is your imagination. So, what I'm trying to say is, even yung mga sketches nyo, you can take a picture of it and pwede mo siyang gawin na vector art. Take note that vector art is not constrained by pixels. Therefore, if you enlarge all of the image, walang mangyayaring distortion or walang mangyayaring pixelation. So, the instructions are to download po the output or the practice sketch. Nandyan po siya. Ang file name is Penguin. Okay? So I'll stop sharing. So again, you just download the entire file, then follow yung ginawa natin. Ang pinaka-technique po is trial and error. Over time, with practice, you can actually sigurado ako makukuha niyo yung paggamit ng Adobe Illustrator. Again, Adobe Illustrator is very good with vector graphics or scalable graphics. Kung medyo complicated or medyo detailed ang gagawin nyo, you use Photoshop. But again, you can actually combine both of them. So, pag medyo complicated yung, let's say yung mga outlines, you can use the Adobe Illustrator, then move it and migrate it to Photoshop. And ang kagandahan sa Adobe products is that they can interchange. So pag may nag-inedit ka dito sa Illustrator, automatic, may edit siya dun sa Photoshop. Or like what I do sa editing sa video, I put in mga vector graphics from Illustrator. I don't even export na. I just put in the Adobe Illustrator file, yung .ai. I drag it to the Premiere session, and automatic, nandun na yung ginawa kong artwork. So, if you have any questions, I will take them now. Sige po.
Thank you so much, Sir Felix, for sharing your expertise with us. It is indeed a very comprehensive discussion.
Now it's time for our speaker, of course, to entertain all of your questions. So during the discussion and presentation of our very esteemed resource speaker, a Google Slide link was posted in the comment section of the Facebook Live. So this time, it will be flashed on the screen. Ma'am Catherine and I will be reading it to allow our speaker, of course, to answer your queries. So we have here the first question coming from Sir Ronel Manjares. Di po kami makasunod kasi may problem yung penguin output. Ay missing po yung penguin .png file, kaya pag inopen siya, blank artwork lang.
Okay, please recheck kasi we just checked nandun po yung file. Baka may problem lang po. You can try re-downloading it para baka may nagka-problema lang sa download. But if wala talaga, we can send another file on a separate folder siguro para mas clear. Okay po. I'm having the IT work it out right now.
Thank you for that, Sir Felix. Pademo po, pademo po ulit ng paglagay ng curve sa isang corner just like the head of the penguin. So, sir, may request po dito.
Okay po. So just give me a while to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so you may be seeing it right now na. Okay? So let's do this dito sa gilid. So what you do is you get the rectangle tool sa toolbar. Then you drag it. Then lagyan natin ng stroke para mas makita natin. Then alisin natin yung fill. Okay. So what you have here is the rectangle. Then zoom in. Kung napapansin nyo, meron dito mga circular na widget. Once your mouse goes over it, nakita nyo, nagiging curved line siya. But it's to the left. If you go to the other part, nagiging curved line lang siya. So, if you pull it down as is, if you adjust it as is, ang mangyayari is, lahat ng sides sasama. So what you do is, let me undo that. You click the path muna, then click lang yung white, ay yung red rather, yung circular. Nakita nyo, naging white siya. Nakita nyo po yung difference. I can't tell kasi if nakikita nyo, maybe nasa mobile yung iba. But if your screen is large enough, you can actually see the circular widgets. So click it, nagiging white siya. If you press shift, or rather, pag ito lang ang click mo, ibig sabihin niya lang ang sasama. Kuha? So, click it again, then press shift para isama natin yung sa kabila, para mabuo natin yung head ng penguin. So let me zoom out. Then, so again, click it para maging white. Click it para hold shift para maging white yung dalawa. So as you notice, white yung center ng circle. Sa baba, it's red. So, pull it down. You now have the head of the penguin. Again, that goes with all of the shapes. So say for example, dun sa polygon tool, meron din siya, this one. Kuha po. So you just experiment with it hanggang sa makuha niya. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you so much po. Again, Sir Felix, for elaborating po yung part na yon. I hope na nakasunod po ang ating participant. So do we still have any queries po or question for clarification?
Okay, I guess that's all for our open forum. And of course, this webinar should not come to an end without recognizing your support and effort to this activity.
So please allow me to read the citation. Citation reads, Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, Region 5, Bicol. Certificate of Recognition is awarded to Felix Rafael A. Balde, in grateful appreciation for his meritorious role as resource speaker during the regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Education Level 1 and 2, conducted by the regional OER core leaders and hosted by the school's division office of Iriga City, held via Facebook Live on March 9 to 11, 2022, pursuant to Regional Memorandum Number 12, Series of 2022. Given this 11th day of March 2022 at Department of Education, Region 5 Office, Rawis, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Gilbert T. Sadsad, Regional Director. Once again, Certificate of Recognition is hereby given to Felix Rafael A. Balde.
Let us all give a virtual clap to Sir Felix Rafael A. Balde.
Once again, thank you so much to Sir Felix for sharing his expertise with us this morning. And of course, my dear friends, this 3 day training was for sure brought a very significant learning to every participants we have. We actually have a great number of participants coming from all the provinces, cities, and municipalities from the different schools division here in Bicol region. And I know everyone has their words to share about what they have learned and how they will be able to value and utilize those learnings.
So the committee has picked three participants among the thousands of participants to share with us their impression. Let us start with from SDO Masbate City, Ma'am Jerlyn Musa. Okay, before that, let me just remind you on how to claim your certificates po. To claim your respective certificates, please be reminded of the following. First, make sure that you have submitted all the required outputs to the LMS portal where you were enrolled since day one. So second, certificate of participation can be can only be downloaded once your output has been checked and graded. And last, incomplete or no output at all, no certificate of participation. So to all of our participants, please make sure that you finish all the activities given to you and upload it on the LMS. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for reminding our participants, Ma'am Catherine. Ayan, so I think nagkaroon ng napaka-interesting na learning ang ating mga participants this morning. And for them to give time para naman makapagpahinga muna. Ayan, so before we finally hear the impressions coming from the different teachers of our selected SDOs, so bigyan muna sila natin ng 5 minutes break. Ayan, so would it be amenable to everyone? So let's have first 5 minutes break and then we'll immediately proceed with our closing program for this 3 day training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and 2. So we will be right back right after 5 minutes. And we are back. So you're still attending, of course, the regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and Level 2. So, Ma'am Catherine, can we again remind our participants on how they're going to claim their certificates?
So again, to claim your respective certificates, please be reminded of the following. First, make sure that you have submitted all the required outputs or to the LMS portal where you were enrolled since day one. Second, certificate of participation can only be downloaded once your output has been checked and graded. And last, incomplete or no output at all, no certificate of participation. So, please be reminded of that. Tapos, so to all our participants, please make sure that you have finished all the activities given to you and upload it to the LMS.
Yes, I guess that was clear to all of our participants here this morning. So, as what I've mentioned earlier, this training should not come to an end, of course, without hearing some words of impression, I mean, from our selected participants. So, to start with our impression, can we have Ma'am Jerlene Musa coming from Schools Division Office of Masbate City?
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ako po ay magbibigay ng impression at idadaan ko po ito sa maliit o maiksing tula. Ako po si Jerlyn Armesa mula sa Dibisyon ng Masbate, isang guro, isang maestra. Ngunit sa araw na ito, ako ay eskwela. Una kong nalaman pagsasanay sa kaguruan sa Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and Level 2. Ako ay nagdalawang isip na ito'y subukan dahil ako ay tunay ngang walang kaalam-alam. Sasali ako, ngunit subok lamang. Yan ang salitang aking binitawan. Tupikong mahihirap, paano ko ito susundan? Kung alam kong lahat ay mga batikan. Ito na nga nagsimula na, pawis ko'y gabutil. Lalo na sa diskusyon, ang aking internet ay patigil-tigil. Ang live session, nahihirapan akong sundan. Napaupo na lang ako at ang replay aking babalikan. Sambit nga ni dalubhasang Sir Adriel, without creativity, there is no progress. When there is creativity, everything changes. The dull world evolved to its finest. Salamat sa libreng Adobe class. Ang galing naman aking naibulalas. Nang aking subukan abay mahirap, pero di titigil, di paaawat. Learners for 21st century learner skills, ika nga. Teachers must be digitally adept and creative, dagdag pa. Both complement to make our learners successful, producing 21st century learners skillful. Positive attitude of teacher matters in honing creativity of our learners. Ang training na ito ay kasagutan upang kakulangan sa kaalaman ay mapunan. Salamat sa tagapagpadaloy ng kasanayan. Sa OER Bicol, tunay na mapagkalinga. Kaalaman na ay inuuna upang lahat sa Adobe maging dalubhasa.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Jerlene Musa, sa iyong tinuran. Napakaganda po ng iyong ibinahaging tula. Inilahad mo sa paraan ng taludturan ang iyong mga natutuhan sa 3 araw na palihang ito. Muli po, ang aming taus-pusong pasasalamat sa iyo. Ngayon naman po, let's give time to hear, of course, another impression coming from the Schools Division Office of Camarines Sur. Let's give a virtual hand to Ma'am Donabel Nalimutan.
Good morning, everyone. The recently conducted regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator was a total success. The virtual training was participated by ICT teachers across the Bicol region. It cannot be denied that this kind of seminar is so timely and relevant in today's distance learning brought about by the pandemic. The seminar was conducted virtually, making it very much convenient and practical on the part of the participants. The ICT teachers from different schools did not have to travel and spend much time and effort just to attend the training. All they had to do was to open their laptops or mobile devices and join in the virtual classroom. The seminar started on time. The preliminary activities ran smoothly and orderly. During the series of online sessions, the participants seemed excited and eager to learn the concepts related to the use of Adobe. They actively participated and listened to the discussion of the speakers. They showed enthusiasm in being part of the training. A higher degree of expertise was demonstrated by the speakers. They were able to communicate their ideas to the audience via online discussions. The participants learned from them the necessary concepts related to the use of Adobe. The learning objectives were met by the speakers and desired competencies were exhibited by the participants. The speakers surpassed the expectations of the attendees as they showed professionalism in the teaching and mastery of topics. I feel truly grateful being part of this virtual training on Adobe, and I believe that many participants feel the same things too. I acquired new knowledge and skills which are beneficial to me as an ICT educator. How I hope more similar trainings will be launched by the division to equip us teachers needed skills and expertise for our professional development. If I were to rate my satisfaction of the training from 1 to 10, I would give a perfect 10 because of how impressive it went. Thank you and have a blessed day to everyone.
Okay, so thank you so much for those words, Ma'am Donabel Nalimutan. Once again, from SDO Camarines Sur. And finally, to complete the persons, I mean, the teachers and the participants who were tasked, of course, to give their impression, let's also give a virtual hand to Sir Eddie C. Rodriguez, coming from SDO Albay.
Hello everyone. I'm Edisi Rodriguez, ICT Coordinator for Programs and Projects of Malinao National High School Albay Division. I'm here to give you a short impression of our 3-day webinar. This 3-day regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator satisfied our desires in updating our methodologies and teaching. It also advances our skills in crafting desirable learning materials and a lot more. We are also fortunate that this webinar includes Adobe integration in making lessons that is really timely to address the needs of our students as well as the demands and challenges of the new normal in education. So thank you very much to our ICT experts and competent speakers who delivered the topics very well. Creativity lights up the brain. Creativity generates innovative ideas that keeps learning engaging and fun. Thanks to Adobe Photoshop, up the brain. Creativity generates innovative ideas that keeps learning engaging and fun. Thanks to Adobe Photoshop, Spark, and Illustrator in teaching. These powerful and user-friendly creative applications will allow teachers and students to use visual graphic tools in creating images and graphics, interactive videos, fan web, and magazine-style web stories, and integrated storytelling platforms. With the available templates, it will be easy. With the available templates, it will be easy and helpful for those novices to customize all sorts of engaging visuals, whether videos to integrated storytelling, or use a blank sheet canvas to showcase unique artistry and creativity for students and teachers in an interactive manner. Involving creativity in classworks will likely develop higher order thinking skills, problem solving, critical thinking, and making connections between subjects or disciplines, which we call within or across the curriculum in students. To the organizing team and the people behind this webinar, thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So, thank you to those three participants who were selected, of course, to share their good words. And we know that this training will not just end here. We still have a lot to explore to be able to adapt and live in a new normal way. So, creative way of presenting our lessons will surely be of great help in the teaching learning process. And I guess we now come to another part of our program, which is the giving of the words of acknowledgement. So, this online training may not be realized and mark one as a success without the unwavering efforts of some individual who are in a way or another provided relentless support to the conduct of this activity.
And to give her words of acknowledgement, let us all welcome Ma'am Marcia and Belen, the Information Technology Officer of SDO Iriga City.
Okay, thank you, Sir Froilan and Ma'am Catherine. To our Regional Director, Gilbert T. Sadsad, our Assistant Regional Director, Ronel Alque Fermo, to my very own SDS, Danilo E. Diaspi, our ASDS, Ma'am Sheila V. Laguda, to the Head of ICTS EdTech Unit, Sir Mark Anthony C., and to all the EdTech Unit personnel, our Regional IT Officer, Sir Salvador B. Deito, to my co-division IT officers, to all OER, core trainers, speakers, program moderators, facilitators, on-site facilitators, and most especially to all the participants. Maray naramrag po kaninyo ngamin. In Tagalog, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Let me start by giving thanks to the Executive and Management Committee, to our Regional Director, Sir Gilbert T. Sadsad, and SDS Dan Despi for allowing us to pursue this very important activity, to Sir Mark Anthony C. for the trust and support, to our Regional IT Officer, Sir Buddy Dato, for the help, and most importantly, for the financial support, to all Division IT officers who's been here with us for the entire training duration, and most importantly, to my very own OER core trainer, the organizer, and the proponent of this very productive and fruitful activity, a very dedicated and hardworking school ICT coordinator of Santo Niño National High School, Ma'am Rochelle E. Salcedo. Thank you so much, Ma'am Rochelle, and to all the executive and management committee. Let me also give my special thanks and my congratulatory to all the speakers, Sir Glenn L. Horanio, Sir Adriel M. Santiago from the EdTech Unit, to Sir Christian Obejas of Ligao Division, Ma'am Iluminada Sorsoso of Iriga City Division, Ma'am Karen Legson of Albay Division, and Sir Felix Balde of Legazpi City for unselfishly sharing your expertise and time to all of us. Thank you so much. Also, special thanks to all the moderators, our web director, especially to Sir Jonathan Roda, Sir J. Mark Alorin, Sir Alec Jordan Buen Camino, Ma'am Venus Kahapay, Laika Rivera, Ma'am Jane Solitaria, and Sir Mike Montaya, who untiringly and devotedly help in the success of this activity. To all the MCs, to the Iriga City on-site facilitators and monitoring team headed by Sir Michael de la Cruz, and also to the consistent attendance and enthusiasm of our participants from 13 divisions. Also, to Casa Lorenzo for the warm accommodation. And to all whom I failed to mention here who contributed in the success of this activity, thank you very much. May this activity give us all new learnings that we can use in our field of endeavor. And lastly, I thank God for for the good weather and also for the guidance during the entire training duration. To God be the glory. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Marcia. Now let's have the awarding of certificates of participation to all division who have participated this regional training. So let's start with our wait. Citation reads, Republic of the Philippines Department of Education, Region 5, Bicol. Certificate of participation is awarded to for having actively participated and completed the 24-hour of training during the regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and 2, conducted by the regional OER, core leaders, and hosted by the SDO Iriga City. Held via Facebook Live on March 9 to 11, 2022. Pursuant to Regional Memorandum Number 12, Series of 2022, given this 11th day of March 2022 at DepEd Region 5 Office, Rawis, Legazpi City, Philippines. Signed, Gilbert T. Sadsad, Regional Director. Certificate of Participation is hereby awarded to SDO Legazpi City.
And of course, the same certificate will be given to the participants coming from SDO Iriga City.
Another certificate of participation to SDO Catanduanes.
And we shall also recognize the participants coming from Schools Division Office of Albay.
Another certificate to SDO Ligao City.
Moving forward to Schools Division Office of Camarines Norte.
And also, another certificate of participation to SDO Naga City.
We also have the same certificates for SDO Masbate Province.
Same certificate to SDO
SDO Masbate City.
Another certificate to SDO Tabaco City.
And we shall have SDO Camarines Sur with a great number of participants.
And also to SDO Sorsogon City.
And last but not the least, the same certificate of participation will be given to SDO Sorsogon Province.
We already reached the curtain call of our webinar for today. And to give us his closing remarks, let us welcome the Regional Information Technology Officer of Region 5, Mr. Salvador Data Jr.
Thank you, MC. It is not happy people who are thankful. It is thankful people who are happy. Our deepest gratitude is extended to the following significant person who made this endeavor possible. To our supportive Regional Director, Gilbert T. Sadsad, equally competent Assistant Regional Director, Renelo Alki Fermo, to the dedicated SDSS, ASDSS, and ITOs and the 13 divisions, to Iriga City Division led by SDS Danilo Despe, and Division ITO Marcia Belen, the host division, to PSDSS and school heads, to school ICT coordinators, both elementary and secondary. Special thanks to their committed to technical working committees, the Bicol OER team, who always ready to accept challenges, led by the National OER core leaders, Ma'am Venus Kahapay of SDO Legazpi City, Ma'am Rachel Salcedo of SDO Iriga City, and Sir Alec Jordan T. Buongcamino of SDO Albay. I hope that this will help one another to grow professionally and you may inspiration and passion to impart knowledge, skill and learn to be a creative, exploring and going beyond one's comfort zone. Good morning and stay safe, sound everyone. God bless us all. Magandang buhay po sa ating lahat.
Thank you so much once again. That was Mr. Salvador Data Jr. Thank you so much, sir. So, friends, I guess that's about everything with regards to our 3-day regional training and orientation on Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 and 2. We may have reached the end of today's event, but may this training flourish new desires and aspiration in achieving greater heights.
Congratulations to all of our participants, organizers, technical working committee, and everybody who have made this event a success.
May we all continue to adhere with the calling of this profession. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, para sa lahat. Again, this has been Froilan Dagatan Salitaria
And Catherine C. Albino
of Santo Niño National High School, Schools Division Office of Iriga City, saying, let us all keep our faith strong. Together, we can rise above the challenges of this pandemic.
Diyos mabalos po.
And mabuhay tayong lahat.